And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No.
I don't, like, how is this not massive news in the sense that, like, YouTube is launching an internal investigation? Like, this is literally your largest channel, the biggest name in your brand, and this is a person describing pretty conclusive torture. I don't take pleasure in finding out all these horrifying things about MrBeast, by the way. It's pretty fucked up. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Bad, not good.
Beastland? MrBeast is facing controversy on several different fronts, and all this comes at a terrible time, right when Amazon is investing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars into the Beast games, which is facing its own controversy. Now, a lot of this is outside of my field, but people are claiming that MrBeast broke the law, and that is my bat signal, or eagle signal. From Feastables to the Beast games, he can do it all. Or can he? An ex-employee is making waves by claiming that everything about MrBeast's empire is fake.
If what we did was scripted, holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
But this train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor.
And it doesn't stop there. There are claims that MrBeast's frequent giveaways are actually illegal lotteries, and that MrBeast contests run afoul of federal anti-rigging laws. And looking at the other side, the ex-employee may have signed a non-disclosure agreement, which he might be violating by producing his videos. Is he gonna be in trouble too? Well, to understand all this, you have to understand who MrBeast is and what a MrBeast video is. Well, MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, is known for his elaborate and philanthropic
Paid raccoons,
videos.
I know,
His
right?
videos often feature massive challenges, expensive stunts, and big giveaways. MrBeast has over 300 million subscribers, and he's expanded his empire to candy bars and to cheeseburgers, and will soon host a game show on Amazon Prime. And now an ex-employee claims that MrBeast fakes his videos and runs illegal lotteries. The man, who goes by Dogpack404 on Twitter, alleged that MrBeast's company engaged in fake giveaways, rigged videos, ran illegal lotteries, and sold fake signatures. Though according to Chucky Appleby, who runs MrBeast's Ideas and Thumbnails team, the man worked for MrBeast for less than a month before he was fired for erratic behavior. But the former worker started a YouTube channel and produced a video alleging that MrBeast runs illegal lotteries.
And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just gonna show you the law and then show you irrefutable evidence of what's being done, and you can make your own conclusions. The FTC defines a lottery as containing 3 elements.
And here he's mostly correct about the legal
watched that whole
elements
video.
of a lottery. This varies state by state.
Before I hear about the legal thing about this, though, there's another video that just got released for the an ex-employee speaks firsthand about how it was manipulated. I want to watch a little bit of
YouTuber
that
guy
too.
with the camera to Amazon. The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was half the people who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time. And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy, or just you didn't like it, you know, you were the other half. And I consistently was in the half that Jimmy doesn't like me. That's fine. I don't like him either. It's okay. Oh, that's also good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much. He didn't want anyone to get more popular or have more of a way out necessarily. Like, oh, I'm doing my Twitch thing on the side. Don't do that because you could get famous and leave and talk about me negatively. And I could tell that the yes men were, you know, doing well. And I was, you know, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right, like publicly. And I've always had to choose my words very, very carefully because I don't want to say anything I don't stand behind, obviously. So I used to talk to people. I used to glaze Jimmy publicly for things I do genuinely think are true. But then it's like, well, how come you didn't talk about the work community? Well, I wanted a career. I didn't want to, you know, speak ill of YouTube's golden boy and then I'm blacklisted forever. I tell people I was talking to you and they go, "Oh, what are you doing? You're going to kill your career." It's like, I have to or I'll be sad. If this is the moment, we're going to talk about it. So as far as that, that's my covering up of why we didn't talk about XYZ sooner, but now you know.
What would you say is the fakest video that you worked on while you were there?
Fakest video that I worked on while I was there. This is the extent of the fakeness that I was involved to. This is admitting to my complicity. I was a writer there, and we were working on a video crushing my friend's car with a rock or meteor or something. It was a rock or a meteor inside of it. I can't remember, but he wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Wettel's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Wettel and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, my car? What? And on the fly, I saw him, because Marcus was in that video. So Marcus is calling his mom. Marcus genuinely had no idea. He genuinely had no idea. But so Marcus is calling his mom, and his mom's freaking out. And I'm like, oh no, they're gonna call my mom next. So I had to text my mom, who had to beg to get the title very quickly. Now I'm texting my mom, I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your mom now. And I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar. Oh my God, on the fly, she goes, what? I'm on vacation. Mom, my car has been destroyed.
Wait, what?
A meteor hit it.
Dude, I'm on vacation. Do you understand?
But yeah, I did that video, and they're supposed to give me 10K
Well done, Mom.
to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big flashy new car. 10K was supposed to be a down payment. And I can't afford a big flashy new car because I work at MrBeast. So I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on, I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, why didn't you get a cooler car? I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about? You know, if I was working on a TV show in the 90s, on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making gajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room, and that's one of the reasons why I left, was because I just walked in there and asked for not necessarily a gajillion dollars, but maybe a salary that was more proportional to the work I was doing, given how much revenue that work was doing. And then, you know, I talked about that, and I talked about the Writers Guild and how this is what Writers Guild industry standard is for the streaming internet content with ads. I thought that was the closest thing to YouTube, and I didn't even bring up residuals, because oh my God, if I got residuals for every video I worked on, boy howdy, I could retire. But yeah, the other thing I talked about was there was another writer there, older comic, black guy, he had a kid. And I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child, we're doing the exact same job, and I'm some 20-year-old fucking white guy, why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up. And one of the things I didn't like about the way some of the V stuff shook out was...
Oh, it's getting serious.
I feel really guilty about the way this like shook out. Yeah, I was talking to this other writer, like, it's fucked up, you know, that's how the pay is, and I want you to get paid more, you know, because you deserve to get paid more. You know, I don't have a kid. And he didn't want to rock the boat. He desperately didn't want to rock the boat. He's just, I like my job. I like, you know, because when you grow up with, you know, nothing, not to say that he did, but I know I did, you know. You get a little something, you don't want to lose it. So he didn't want to rock the boat. But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, you know, like if that's like, I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me. And I said my piece, and he backed me up. And I said, I need XYZ or I'm out of here. And they said, bet. And they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day. And if I knew he was going to lose his job too, I wouldn't have done it.
The double fire, that's
I was
fucked up.
over the moon. I was like, you're gonna give me a check and I get to leave? You know, I don't get to deal with the yeah, how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day, you know? And I get to go home and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon. And he was devastated. He did not want, I said, he just wanted to be in the room, you know? And I really regret that. But, you know, me and him are really still tight. We're still good friends. Is he doing good? Yeah, he's doing good. He's a good guy. I love that guy. He's doing good. Kinda, yeah.
So maybe you'll feel better?
Honestly, best thing I could have done for him. Now that he's very, very far removed from all this crazy shit, I guess.
Do you think Jimmy really enjoys doing good and helping people?
I think Jimmy wants to be the best YouTuber. I think he is laser focused on one goal. And I think whatever he has to do to achieve that. Hey, you're crying. That's so good for camera. You know, I'm so glad if you're crying because you're so thankful that you got XYZ, and then you go, oh, I'm so glad he needed it that bad so I could come in and, can you cry more? Oh, it's so good for the camera if you could. Oh, it made me uncomfortable that I was working there, and I didn't like it, and I vocalized it sometimes. And I think that's why I wasn't on camera as much as they said I was going to be. I was told at one point that I was going to be like fourth banana, you know, it was going to be Jimmy, Chris, Chandler, me, you know, and then that never happened. And I remember talking about that, like, hey, I thought my contract said XYZ. And then I got the severance checks. So, you know, whatever, all that regard.
So after your severance checks, how was your relationship with the company? I know you appeared in videos after that, right?
Right, so in videos where I was appearing in later, that's why you keep nice publicly. If you're nice in public, hey, Jake was nice in public, let's have him back for something. You know, yeah, sure. So I was hoping they call back, you know? And I appeared in some videos after I left. I think one of them was 3 days at a maximum security prison. If I did do mini challenges in that, I got paid. I was, you know, clocked in with a rate, and I would get paid and compensated for those. But
those were some of the series that MrBeast did that I really disliked. I always thought they were in really poor taste. It's just kind of gross to try and make like, I'm gonna, you know, exploit what the conditions are like within the U.S. prison system by putting 10 of my friends in there where they can each win like $10,000. And then there's like the other segments. He got even weirder with it where he started doing like solitary confinement and shit like that. Really gross look.
There was one video I was in. I got paid a lot for it, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out because it didn't go well. There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the like surviving like $10,000 every day.
Yeah, that was one of the ones where I was like, this is gross. This is like by definition psychological torture. You're putting people in solitary confinement, even if you're saying that like, well, yeah, but okay, so in this, the guy's in a room and he's got all this shit, and so he's like, it's not as bad as like prison. He's got a computer, he's got a basketball court, he's got like, you know, all this stuff, but it's like every day one thing gets taken away. And if you can last another day, that's $10,000. Eventually it gets down to very few things. And it's around that point that, yes, just staying in a room completely isolated is going to make people go through a lot of horrifying mental health experiences. But that's not even enough. You know, sometimes for Jimmy, it's around that point in that video where he's like, he does the thing where he introduces the person's partner and just like, you know, you haven't had a lot of human contact. You obviously miss the person that you have feelings for incredibly. And so use that for a moment to like, all right, now I'm going to film and get those sweet tears. It's always about extracting the sweet juicy tears.
He's surviving solitary or surviving solitary for whatever. It was one of those solitary confinement videos that got a lot of media attention because everybody saw the premise and thought, what? You shouldn't do that. And people don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me, and it didn't go well. I was already planning on moving to New York, and I had worked at a couple of YouTube companies after Beast, and I had a little bit of change in my pocket. You know, the most change I had in my pocket ever. You know, small potatoes, you know, compared to Beast bullshit. But you know, I thought I had enough to move to New York or whatever. And I get a call from somebody over there, and they go, "Hey, they want you for a video." I was like, "Oh, amazing, great, cool, thank God." What's the video? And they tell me the pitch. And they try to make the pitch sound like it's going to be like a walk in the park. The pitch is 100 days in solitary confinement, but don't worry, like you only have to last like 30. We have like a video. They're pitching it like at first it's going to be like a luxury vacation. You're going to have like a hot tub and an ice cream machine, and like part of the video is going to be you deciding like what items am I going to get rid of, you know, today, and it's like the choice. They were like, it's only going to be bad for maybe the last like 5 days tops when you have like nothing left. You're the first, it's going to be like a breeze for most of it. And by the end of it, after 30 days, you're going to get $300,000 because it's 10.
Oh, he's the guy. He's the guy from that sketch. I didn't even make that connection.
$1,000 a day. And I don't know, man. I grew up poor in North Carolina. I said, excuse me? I'll dance for you if you put that kind of money in my face, sure.
Oh, that's wild. Because I remember like 2 years ago when we watched it, because I was just like, did he actually put someone through like solitary confinement for entertainment? That's just profoundly fucked up to do. And then I remember thinking at the time, I was just like, the sketch is so profoundly sad in that like, yeah, I get the argument that like, wouldn't you do it? Of course I would. Of course, $10,000 a day. Cash guaranteed for like literally every single day that you spend in this thing. Yeah, I'm not saying that like I'm above it or that I wouldn't do that. Yes, that's a transformative amount of money, but it's also one of those things where like that doesn't mean that doing this is good or that it's not kind of like sociopathic to think that like this is an acceptable form of generating entertainment, you know?
Like, you're going to be locked in this room, and we got to make sure you're on all the time. We're going to have cameras on you all the time, and you're perfect for this because you never shut the fuck up. You know, on paper, I was like, okay, I can do this, and I was. They always cut me out of the videos. They always, and I was, you know, editors have told me that it's because you have too much of a personality. And so with this video, I thought, this is perfect. It's a video they can't cut me out of. I'm the guy. And so I thought, well, if I have to do this, if I have to do solitary confinement in order to do the things I want to do, then I will do that. That I held my tongue and I swallowed my pride and I tried to do one last ride. I get there. And at first it's fine. And I mean, they had just freshly painted the set. You could smell it, you know, which that's probably not good. You know, the smell of fresh paint in your surroundings for the next XYZ time. It looked good on the visual. It looks good on camera. You know, it's movie magic bullshit. It was a terrible facility. I mean, it was in one of the studios. They had to like get like a separate like tank for, you know, septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like, things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink. You know, if there's not like a hot water mechanism, so the hot tub was a lukewarm tub at best, which was a silly complaint, but the shower was always cold, and you're taking like a quick shower, and I had cameras 24/7 on me, and the ice cream machine, let's talk about that for a second. The ice cream machine has 2 modes, on, and off, reeking of smelly dairy mildew. Like, so I got to choose which sense was assaulted at a time. I couldn't have all of them good. So the little thing started to build up. You know, there was like the bug thing wasn't like terrible, but it was a factor. And like at first it was fine, you know, and you're playing it up like, cause you know it's a video, and it got to a point where like they weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? You know, and they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Yeah, I saw in other videos they did
oh my God.
Like, oh, you're gonna get XYZ hours of sunlight. Oh, great! Well, I don't know how they figured that one out. I didn't have it. You know, one of the things was you got to take away your clock, so you didn't know what time it was. Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. I don't know, like...
That was right. It was torture. It was just torture.
The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep. And I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there. I had good people looking out for me. I had a lot of good people looking out for me saying, this we gotta stop. So I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend. And I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. So, you know, they're giving me, you know, melatonin.
Oh yeah, there's ample evidence. You know, the U.S. Psychological Association has defined, you know, a lot of what you are basically witnessing testimony to as torture. It's torture. It does have profound psychological effects on people, especially like a lot of these things in and of themselves are torture. Isolating human beings from all outside social contact can have profound effects. Not allowing them to sleep can have profound effects. Perpetual light can have profound effects. Perpetual loud noise can have profound effects. You know, uncomfortable positions or situations or smells, stuff like that. All of this, it's torture.
Yeah, it's not helping.
For a fucking YouTube video. Like, this is for a YouTube video. All of this that is taking place is just for YouTube content.
You know, and then Jimmy would come in like every other day for like an hour, you know, to check in on me because he's doing other stuff. You know, I'm just the guy in the cage over here. He'll come back to me in a minute. And so he'd come by, he'd get the shots, he'd leave. Sometimes he'd have a note from the director over the phone. That would really piss me off. This is the note I got from the director, from Jimmy, when I'm receiving some cash. He said, Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans?
Oh.
You know how hard it was to do a take of that? And pretend to make it genuine?
You know what else is that when I was covering and feuding publicly with MrBeast online, and you know, we were having our little Twitter battle, that's a lot of the replies would be like, Yeah, Lance, ripping into the segment where he's just on the street giving like people $10,000 cash. What a monster. Yeah, really, really evil guy. And I was like, it's not the giving people money. And by the way, you can do that without having to turn it into a TV show. He could just give people money if he wanted to, if that was really just this thing that he wanted every person who doesn't have money to have money or something like that. It's really different when you do that. And immediately I see a scene afterwards, after the cash has been handed over to someone, where they burst out crying. And this woman's like, I can't believe this. Now I can finally afford to pay for my dying father's cancer, bills and stuff like that. And they immediately are just like, zoom in on the tears, put on like the big yellow text that he has in all his videos, just like father saved, shit like that. I was like, it just feels like it's profoundly sick, like we're witnessing a modern day P.T. Barnum where it's just like, come in and let's all take a tour and look at the poor's tears, look at the poor people's tears, or people with disabilities tears, and look the miracle I perform before you as I gift them the very things they need in life to be able to be happy for me to get that shot, kind of thing. Like I was like, at a very profound level, there's something so disgustingly exploitative about all this. And like, fair enough, the competitions where it's just like, I'm now going to see who's going to be able to stand inside of a pit of balls for the most amount of hours without like sitting down or things like that. Like, it's shitty. It's a shitty way to try and make money, where it's just like, I want people to suffer. That just like, that speaks more to you than anything. But sure, I watched Fear Factor. I obviously, as a teenager, thought it was hilarious. I liked watching people do stunts and then have to eat gross things for my amusement. And that's in principle a very similar concept, right? Yeah, yes, I grew out of it, but ultimately that's in one category. You're in a different world. Once you start introducing, he's going to put people in solitary confinement and torture them. And that's, even at the time, without knowing what was happening behind the scenes, I was like, this is still solitary confinement. This is still a YouTube video / sketch where the premise is a person loses an item a day and sees how long he can survive, while every day he's given $10,000, even though he loses one of the toys, until he's left with virtually nothing, literally just being inside of a cube with no human contact, perpetual light, and let's see if you're willing to do it for another $10,000 and another $10,000, knowing that this was an employee who had tried prior to this to try and get a promotion to live, because he liked MrBeast, he liked the brand, he felt that, he came from nothing and this was a huge opportunity, and oh my god, I'm actually part of like the inner circle. I just need like a small cost of living raise, and then it's like, gone. But you can still be, if you talk nice things about us in public, you can still be a cast member. So hey, be in this sketch. And it's like, yeah, so I'd get in a sketch and then I'd be cut out of it. But this was that one opportunity. Finally I knew. Like this, at this moment in time, I couldn't get cut out of this one because I was the main cast member. It was solitary confinement with me. Pitbull, thank you so much. P.T. Barnum ran for president once upon a time. I don't know if I knew that.
I don't want to have student loans. I don't want to be in a cage. But Jimmy's the guy with the money, and if you do what he says, he'll do what you want. You want your student loans paid off? You just be in this cage. And you have power over people. When one person doesn't have resources and the other one does, and they hold it over your head, and you go, of course, yeah, I agreed to it. I needed it, of course. Just something about like,
Big Bad Ard Wolf with the $5. If you do something good and talk about it, it no longer counts, except for that dono, even though I did call you up by name, because I do appreciate it. You did something good.
Having the cameras on me all the time. Like I was not having a good time, but we were filming a video. So I was trying my best to be funny, I'm a dark comic, I got bits about, I had a very traumatic life. I have, my dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor, so this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. I don't fuck around with this shit. I have jokes about that in my act. I joke about it because that's what you do in a traumatic experience. Abusive relationships, I get out of it, the first thing I do is I do a type file about it. So I'm in this situation where my mental health is not good. My physical health is getting worse, but we're filming. So I'm doing bits. I'm talking to the camera. And I'm being, like, hey, it's been a couple days. I'm not doing so hot.
If you don't know, there's even more controversy where apparently one of the people who was working for MrBeast was a registered sex offender. I'll see if I can pull that up.
Which if I'm filming a video, that's what I should be doing for the camera, but it was too real. If they're faking videos, why?
So according to Internet Anarchist, the million YouTube channel, the sex offender in MrBeast's team was Jake the Viking's brother-in-law. Was protected by the team, apparently. According again to the Internet Anarchist. I don't know if this is true.
Why couldn't we fake this one? You know, if we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off? How come we couldn't maybe not have some time-lapse footage for 10 seconds?
Did you try to get out?
Yes! I was starting to calculate, I don't know if I could do 30. How much can I, well, how can I manage to get out of here sooner and still have a video and still have some cash and get the plug, man. I did. Since we're doing time-lapse shots and since they insisted on time-lapse shots, I said, all right, we're gonna do time-lapse shots, bet. I put my YouTube on with the whiteboard they gave me. And I was like, all right, yeah, go ahead and scrub that footage. You know, you got that whiteboard. Oh no, either that goes in or this footage is unusable. And then, you know, James Warren came in and erased it. You know, fucking, don't put that. Hey, we can torture him. Don't you dare let him get a plug in there. You know.
What?
Like we were playing up the joke. You know, it's like I'm the boy in the cage. You know, whatever. Like I'll play into a joke. Whatever, it's fine. It's just something weird about when Jimmy jokes. I have jokes about my dad. Because I love jokes with my dad. I'll joke with my dad all the time. That guy's a piece of shit. I hate my dad. But I have friends that make fun of my dad. That's fine, because I know their intent. I know where they're coming from. When Jimmy joked with my dad, and I started to see weird. I don't like it. We were doing that one of those hide and seek videos. Again, you know, at the time they were a lot realer. So I got caught, and when you get caught, you know, you go to the place where you get caught. And I don't know if there's footage of this. I don't know if I definitely didn't make the final cut. But he says to me, all right, you're going to jail, you know, like your dad. And like,
wow,
it's a joke.
Wow.
But when my friends do it, it's fine. And Jimmy just wasn't my friend. He was my boss. And that wasn't cool. And so now,
that's so
I'm locked in a cage at his whim. And I have to do things to get the cash I need to live. And I got these cameras on me all the time. And I was unwell. I had editors coming up to me saying, "You good, bud?" And I was like, "Yeah, why? You're clearly unwell." And he goes, "Well, because the footage you're sending in is haunting." Because I'm trying to be funny, but I am mentally decaying, so I'm doing bits. Someone said there is a horror cut of a video in this. And I'm thinking, like, who's watching this? Like, who wants to see this? What is fun about this, the video? And so the thing that made me I gotta get out. I can't do another day in here. Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, "Why is he sleeping?" I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, "Ask me why I have 2 briefcases." And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, "Oh, because this one's for today, you know, and this one's for the challenge." And I go, "What's the challenge today?" He goes, You're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is. And you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic, I'm dumb, I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube. So your first challenge, Rubik's Cube. I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do it." I was like, "On camera, I don't want to do it." He goes, "Just do it for the thing, my kid." Yeah. Like there was an element of, oh, Jake will do what we want because he's in house. You know, that's one of the reasons why they got me. Jake's he's an inside guy, so he'll do whatever. We can push him a little extra hard because we know he's good. We know he's. I couldn't say no to the treadmill thing. Yeah. So I people who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard. Again, writer. Do I look like I run? I don't run, you know, let alone a marathon, let alone have training for it. So I was in a sunlightless, you know.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
Based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know, you know. And if I refuse, it's just Oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. And so I wanted to be a good sport, and I wanted to get the boost, and I wanted the cash, and so I started running at 12. I was able to take some breaks, and I asked him, how long do I have? He goes, until I get back. And I'm running until 3 a.m. I got off the treadmill. Oh, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to like ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done. I can't. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out. And that's when you get the psych in, and I talked to the psych about how I'm not well, and like I said, there was a lot of good people over there that was saying, you got to pull him out. Yeah, I had friends that did some freelance work, and they would tell me, they'd be like, yeah, everyone knows you over there, everybody loves you. They go, oh, Jake Weddle, love that guy. Shame what happened to him. Like I'm a ghost. And I asked him, I said, how much longer are you guys going to keep me in here? And the guy goes, realistically, like at least 7 more days? No. And they didn't let me leave right away.
I don't like, how is this not massive news in the sense that like YouTube is launching an internal investigation? Like, this is literally your largest channel, the biggest name in your brand, and this is a person describing pretty conclusive torture. Like, unless he's making it all up, these are all lies. The whole thing was fabricated. None of that happened. He's just a really good actor. He's really, really good actor. Isn't this amazing? Unless that's the case, okay. But like, launch an investigation then, an internal investigation. Like, this is obviously not something like people lose their channels if they do a prank that was dangerous without getting the proper safety equipment in place and having the proper people in place. Like if you're literally running torture centers to produce content. Like, I don't know how you can walk away from this as a secret, sure. As a kind of like, oh, it was fine. We had everything we needed. We had a psychologist. Psychologist was there, blah, blah, blah. We dotted all our I's, crossed our T's. He could have stopped at any point. Does he tell you that part? He could have stopped. Definitely could have stopped, even though he does seem kind of like this is kind of directly tied to his financial situation and his ability to even have a career in this industry at all. But sure, could have stopped.
They wanted to make sure, everything was fine. So I just, slept
No Justice is on YouTube.
They turned the lights off.
Pull that link up.
And they brought in all my friends, to make it. They brought in all the people I liked, and Jimmy. Then everybody was around me, making sure I was good, making sure I was okay. But Jimmy had his he was sitting in the chair turned around like an evil villain. Swear to God, everyone was looking at me, and he was like Lex Luthor over there. He turns around, he stands up. He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. When you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop, you're gonna make me cry. And he touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just. I didn't have to pretend to do that shit. She says, as if rehearsed by his lawyers. Your mental health's the most important thing. Just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is. I can almost hear the word Sue come out of his mouth. The S. He just stopped right before it got out. I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, 100,000 some change, give or take. You know how much money I spent in taxes in 2021? I spent $44,000 in taxes alone. And now I spent all that money on doing stand-up. I bought plane tickets to go do comedy festivals. You know, my family back home, I gave them a bunch of stuff that they needed. And haven't been back on a Beast set in any official capacity or unofficial capacity since then. And then they did the video with somebody else, and they worked out the kinks. And then I'd still gotten some hot water, and I knew it would. And I've wanted to say a lot of this for a long, long, long time.
Okay, so never mind. It wasn't even the episode that we saw. They ended up cutting that episode, and they did the whole thing again with another person. Second time.
And I feel good now. Guys, how do you get that off there?
So I just want to hop in here and show some text that Jake sent me after this interview. This is July 29, 2021, a few days after he got out of solitary. How are you feeling after a few days? Better. I still couldn't sleep, even a few days out, but I almost have my sleep cycle back on track. My legs and joints are good, but the blisters on my feet still hurt to walk on. Medical advice I got was not to lance them and just let them go away with time. I'm mentally still in an uneasy place, but I've gotten back on better help. My therapist is a little concerned, but we are working on things. Reminder, this is not supposed to be a traumatic life event. This is supposed to be a MrBeast video. Hey Jake, hope you're doing okay. Meg and I just wanted to check in on you. Hey, I'm good and I appreciate that. I'm not exactly 100%. I feel like mentally I'm still recovering a bit, but back in therapy and my therapist is concerned. Haha, but my legs and joints feel better, like I can walk, but my feet are still covered on those blisters and those hurt to walk on. But I was told the best thing to do is stay off my feet and let them heal. I'm in Raleigh with my family. Also, it'll be like a month before I get the money, and they aren't giving me all the money. They're giving me what I won up to that point in the game, which was also a slap in the face, but hey, I'm out, I'm alive. Therapist who knows and cares about you. The whole thing was so fucked, and honestly, fuck them for not giving you the money. Meg and I are wishing you the best with your recovery, and please feel free to reach out if you need anyone to talk to or need a place to crash in New York. Hope you're doing well, man.
So
that video you uploaded is money. So good. I appreciate. I'm doing better physically. Mentally, I'm still kind of in a place. I still can't sleep. I've slept 5 hours in the past 3 days, marathon included. I don't know what's wrong with me. Lots of thinking, too much, one might say. Hope they're taking care of you where they can. I mean, I was kind of shocked they didn't pay me for the full 25, 30 days. They paid me what I made up to that point. Like, even when we have to pull the plug for my mental health, the mechanism of the game is still at play. I'm just happy to be out. I still can't walk well, but it hurts less. And like, I'm not famous enough to burn a bridge. So at the end of the day, I'm still Jimmy's bitch. Like, if I was Carl and he did that to me, I'd ruin him. And they want to do it again. That could be your leverage. If the guy breaks down also, 2 is better than 1. Yeah, right. I told them everything they did to me that they can't do again in order to make sure the other person doesn't break down as fast. But like, the way the video is meant to function is the problem. It's a bad idea, full stop. It sounds clickbaity, sounds right up Jimmy's alley, but it's morally unethical, like on every level. Off-camera breaks, lights off at night, visitation, take the marathon out. Marathon is a video in itself. You can't expect someone to exert themselves like that for 45 seconds of content. The challenges really made it feel dehumanizing, felt like a parody of MrBeast. I felt like the homeless guy they could exploit. It felt like
like I said, he's Saw. He's the Jigsaw from the Saw series. It's exactly what you're doing here, just fucking torture.
Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. It felt like if Jeff Bezos had a GIMP. Part of me wants the footage burned, and part of me thinks that there's a great horror cut in there. LMAO, he was so fake when he came in and said he cared about my mental health. They must have programmed the care about mental health updates. He said, we also don't want you to... And I swear to our Lord and Savior, he stopped himself from saying sue. Also, as far as like, he could have said no, he could have left at any time. I want to show this segment from an internal document at MrBeast called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called No Does Not Mean No. Already insane, because it's sort of, it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads,
The fuck? If we need a store to buy everything inside and you call the local Dollar Tree and if the person answers no, you can't film there, that literally doesn't mean shit. Talk to other employees to see if they are fans or if they have kids that are fans. Try talking to the boss, their boss's boss. Have me DM them on Twitter and try their social media team. If after all venues are exhausted, you are left with a no, that doesn't mean don't try other Dollar Trees, because the manager of those could be huge fans and willing to bend the rules. Basically what I'm trying to convey is that we call pushing through no. Jesus Christ. Don't just stop because the one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable options are exhausted. This is one of many tools that when combined dramatically improve your probability of success when producing here. Work on multiple videos every day. Yeah, of course. It's like, that's so profoundly sad in the guy's first-hand testimony.
To succeed in MrBeast production. Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called "No does not opening date multiple times due to not being able to get in contact with MrBeast to get the stuff cleaned up out of the area." So I actually know that this is from a MrBeast video called "Protect the..."
Cleaned up after this video. For the love of God, subscribe so we can pass T-Series.
Not denying the claims, going on to say, "I am sure that there are no perfect film productions, just as there are no perfect people. I am grateful for the opportunity that we had to host the production crew, and because grace, or forgiveness, has been offered to me so freely, I will choose to offer the same." So clearly alluding to the fact that there was a wrongdoing by MrBeast production team. And that's like sort of the thing is, if you're around Greenville, you know these stories of people working with MrBeast and it being extremely unprofessional, them not doing what they say, but they sort of get by a lot on their good public image. And like, I mean, this camp offered to host them completely for free. And I guarantee, like, if you went to the lake at the camp and you went magnet fishing, like you'd find all sorts of debris that's still there to this day. Like,
yeah, I had it a little rough growing up. I can't speak on that, but I do have empathy for it. Because I had it rough growing up, and I think when you're hyper fixated on something, like I love stand-up, he loves YouTube, everyone fixates on a thing, I think he just wanted to be the best YouTuber so bad, and because the industry's metrics rewarded some not great behavior, if you're just going on autopilot based on what the numbers say, you can do some things that maybe aren't good but reap reward. And I think Jimmy just did what the industry and maybe what the system that we have set up demanded, and he didn't care who got hurt. And I think Jimmy surrounded himself with really, really not so great people, and those people were the ones making the decisions. And I want to say, really important, there are so many good people that work at MrBeast who are damn good at their jobs. Like, when Jimmy comes in and asks for something impossible, it's these people's jobs to do it. And they shouldn't be able to make it happen, and they do. And so I don't think people wanted to talk about stuff because I didn't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't care about my fucking job. I'll die in a hole. I don't care. But I don't want my friends to lose their jobs. I don't want anyone's reputation to be fucked. But let's just go back to my dad for a second, if I may. My dad was like a swim coach, your neighborhood swim team. Everybody loved him. Everybody loved him. Behind closed doors, he's a real piece of shit. And so when stuff starts hitting the fan, what? Him? No. Surely. And then, everyone, thought my mom was the bitch, for not,
HildeBeast, welcome. I feel bad. I got a bunch of raids while we're watching really, really fucked up, sad content. So content warning to everyone jumping in here. If you're watching something pleasant, we're currently watching someone giving pretty aggressive first-hand accounts of abuse and torture that he suffered under MrBeast and MrBeast show. But hey, can everyone go to twitch.tv/HildeBeast, Hild_Beast, and give a follow back. Welcome in raiders. And yeah, content warning for anyone joining if that's aggressive.
The day the news broke, that he did what he did to one of the students of the team. And it's like when that comes out, you're not surprised, You just go, when I saw my dad in the news, I said, "Oh, you idiots." Like, I was like, no, what? I was, oh, dumbass, god damn it. But I wasn't surprised. And it was just consequences happening to somebody who was really good at avoiding them for a long time. And I don't know, everybody loves Jimmy. And behind closed doors, he is not super great, and that image is cultivated purposefully and intentionally, and it's branding, it's marketing, it's YouTube.
Yeah, we were watching the legal video. Well, I can finish the
Most jurisdictions define a lottery as having 3 elements: consideration, which is
I don't think it was going to talk
payment
about the torture. I think it's going to talk
prize,
about
which must be something of value,
the fraud,
and chance, which means that the winner is determined.
But there's like, holy fuck, is there ever an avalanche of shit right now? It's that MrBeast had a known sex offender working within his inner circle, that he was faking a lot of these sketches. The ones that appeared to be torture were torture. Not just the psychological torture of doing putting people in solitary confinement for cash or prize money, but like actual torture in addition to that, where they were depriving them of sleep, perpetual light, making them do exhaustive physical activities that they were not trained for, all that kind of shit. And obviously, yeah, that would have immense psychological tolls on somebody. I mean, most reality TV does take very strong psychological tolls on the contestants. It's notoriously unhealthy. That, in addition to he may have been doing full on like fraud here, right, where he's violating FEC regulations in regards to saying, hey, by the way, if you subscribe, you could get a prize. If you buy a t-shirt, the next 100 people do get a free iPad, things like that, right?
Look, if all 3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government. Now, this is in contrast to what I'll generally call a contest, which is not based on chance so much as skill or intellect. And that's why it's generally legal to have a prize for a contest, even when there's an entry fee, because it's not based on chance and therefore does not constitute a lottery. Lotteries are distinct from sweepstakes and raffles, which are illegal. Sweepstakes are games where a person is chosen randomly to win a prize, and sweepstakes participants do not give consideration to enter. Now, we'll talk more about this in a second.
Limited edition 40 mil special shirts. We're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video. Then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this.
So the parameters of the offer were that a fan buys an autographed t-shirt and they get the possibility of winning a prize. The winners were supposed to be chosen randomly at different intervals, but MrBeast changed the rules of the giveaway midstream.
They would say something like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is going to win. Dogpack
says that during the 6-hour live stream, MrBeast offered 46 illegal lotteries with a retail value of over $47,000. Now, typically when you review the terms and conditions of a giveaway like this one, the first disclaimer you'll see is the statement, no purchase necessary. That's how you get around the lottery rules. You offer people a way to participate in the sweepstakes without having to purchase anything. Now, MrBeast's 6-hour live streams look a little sloppy. They're not like the MrBeast videos of today. The full video isn't available anymore, so we don't know whether there was a disclaimer in the video or in the description, but it does look like a purchase was required and there was no free way to enter. So in some jurisdictions, MrBeast probably would have been running an illegal lottery. And if true, he probably wouldn't be alone. This was, frankly, pretty common on YouTube back in the day. And it's also common for YouTubers to get legal advice later after they become more successful. Remember, kids, talk to your lawyer early and often. We can often save you a ton of headache in the future. But not offering a free method of participation is a pitfall that I've seen a lot of YouTubers do when it comes to giveaways or bonuses. It's so common, in fact, that a very large YouTuber, Captain Sparkles, even admitted to doing the same thing while he was talking about this MrBeast situation.
I will admit to something here that may be past the statute of limitations, but the way that I found out about illegal lotteries to begin with is because I accidentally did one.
You know, if it were me, even if it were super common, I would...
I like the pro tip here. Oh my, really? I feel I have done that one a lot. But not whenever I'm referring to myself. I'm referring to an alternate persona. Yes, Slim Shady. That's right. The other guy.
Would not admit to breaking the law on camera, but you know, you do you. That's more work for lawyers in the future. And a lot of private companies have gotten in trouble for doing the same kind of giveaway. The Department of Justice concluded that the Ironman Triathlon organization conducted an illegal lottery by charging athletes. Legal is
such a lib. True, but you're getting free legal advice. Consideration for the purpose of a lottery is payment, purchase for the product of the service, or extensive effort needed to participate in the promotion.
To people who subscribe to his channel. Now, whether this is an illegal lottery or a legal sweepstakes depends on whether the state law construes subscribing to the channel as consideration. Now, in North Carolina, where MrBeast is based, if the promotion includes a purchase, payment, or substantial effort, and it's a game of chance resulting in a prize, then it's likely an illegal lottery. If it's non-monetary consideration, the person would have to make a, quote, substantial degree of effort for it to be considered consideration. In the past, substantial effort examples include
Oh, he is the one good lib. I agree. I'm the one who said that about him. And it got me into the H-Bomber Guy video.
attending an all-day sales presentation or going to a scavenger hunt. But simply watching a TV program or visiting a location one time was not considered substantial effort in North Carolina. So I could definitely see a North Carolina court saying that simply pressing the subscribe button does not qualify as a substantial effort necessary to...
The problem with Legal Eagle and Lawyer Brain, though, is that it's always just like, I'm going to give you the precedent, I'm going to show you what like should probably be the course that this proceeds with, but at the end of the day, the answer is unclear. Because after all, there are a number of determining factors that I won't be able to account for. Like, you don't go into a trial or something and be like, we are guaranteed 100% success, 100%. There's absolutely no way that this can go in any other direction. It's like, well, I mean, it can always. I mean, you can have strong certainty. You can say definitely case precedent, evidence, everything. We have a rock solid case. We are good to go. That certainly is better than going in there blind. Absolutely. But it doesn't 100% guarantee that you're going to be correct.
He knew what he was doing in this particular video, because this video allows participation in the sweepstakes without purchase. The description reads, no purchase or payment necessary to enter or win. Void outside allege that his statements are defamatory and violate his confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. Now, generally, I hate these kind of strong-arm tactics to silence critics. This is exactly what Logan Paul is currently doing with CoffeeZilla, but the situation might be theoretically different from a legal perspective. This isn't just some critical third party, but a person who was an employee. They had a direct contractual relationship with MrBeast. So the contract terms will be just as important as the general law on defamation. Now, as you probably know, a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, is a legal contract between at least two parties that outlines confidential material, knowledge, or information that the parties wish to share with each other for certain purposes, but want to restrict from wider access. The NDA essentially creates a confidential relationship between the parties to protect information covered by the NDA. And usually that's any type of confidential or proprietary information or trade secrets. In this video, YouTuber Some Ordinary Gamer explained the purpose of an NDA.
I hired you at our company, right? And I told you a secret about, something we're doing a month from now, a production that we have coming out in the next 2-3 months. If we hired you to be the editor for that video, and we had told you, hey, don't leak any of this at all, not a single ounce of footage. We want this for you to edit. We want you to put these videos together, and we want you to,
Philip Schwartz, thank you for the $2. They say precedent. What's that? He's describing this correctly insofar as you can't use NDAs to try and stop people from talking shit about you or your brand. You can't use NDAs to try and stop people from reporting crimes or revealing that you were engaged in committing crimes. They don't defend you from illegal acts. Like, I think, especially in America, there's this concept that NDAs are just like, oh, I mean, you signed an NDA. Like, Crowder has been using them for years because, again, he was trying to sexually assault, allegedly, his own employees, especially his male employees. So if that's the case, like, after the fact, just because he wants to protect his brand, that's not the same as you protecting a proprietary company secret that is directly in the interest of your company to be able to profit from that secret, right? Or information or something. Like, if you join a company to become a coder, and it's like, hey, you learn a lot about the stack, you learn a lot about the code, you learn a lot about proprietary ways in which this company runs. Yes, it is within their interest to be able to protect that, and so they might make you sign NDAs in the sense that if you go work for a competitor, you aren't able to just take the code with you and give it to them and be like, oh yeah, I wrote this though. It's not, no, that's still their copyright, that's still their code, that's still their stuff. This is in order to try and prevent you from, again, competing directly using secrets so that people can't poach one another within a corporate sphere. That's essentially it. It's been weirdly and grotesquely manipulated by YouTubers to try and be like, don't tell anyone about the sick fucking shit I did. Don't tell anyone about what a sick fuck I am. Yeah, no, you signed an NDA. You can't tell anyone I'm a sick fuck. No, I know I'm a sick fuck, and I've done some sick shit. Absolutely. I may have violated the Geneva Convention. But don't tell anyone that. I'd prefer people don't know that. It's really going to hurt the brand. The chocolates, the Feastables. People might not want to buy as many chocolates if they're like, oh, this guy might be involved in potential crimes against humanity.
Basically have these ready to go up on our actual collaborative channel. If you decided to leak that footage, it would be well within our right to take you to court.
Now, Mudahar is right that a company could sue a person who violated an NDA by disclosing things about that production if those things are...
You're right that NDAs can't be used to stop people from discoloring criminal acts, but management at the USES uses it as a weapon to protect criminal acts. Also, you're talking about non-competes, which gets placed onto NDAs, which is illegal because it's a non-compete, but titles in an NDA as stated by Attorney Ryan on YouTube. And also, didn't that change recently? Isn't that one of the good things that Joe Biden did? Is he started to remove those? You can't actually have the two of them directly associated with each other for these reasons.
Within the scope of the NDA. And he's generally right that an NDA cannot compel a person not to disclose a crime. If an NDA attempts to prevent someone from reporting illegal activities, the NDA might be considered void if it violates public policy. However, what constitutes a violation of public policy varies substantially according to the jurisdiction. Some states have adopted laws that strike non-disclosure provisions, which prohibit employees from disclosing unlawful employment practices such as discrimination, harassment, or fraud. North Carolina, where MrBeast is based, has not adopted such a law. The issue really becomes whether Dogpack witnessed anything that would be against public policy in the state that governs the NDA. So while it's true that NDAs generally cannot be used to conceal illegal activities, the person really has to have evidence of at least an illegal activity that would be considered against public policy to have an NDA against. And it doesn't seem like Dogpack has made any statements of witnessing anything firsthand that MrBeast did anything that was against the law. And now MrBeast's lawyers have sent 2 cease and desist letters to Dogpack. He appeared on Oompaville's show and declared that he isn't scared.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel nervous? I would be shitting myself if I were you.
No, I'm not shitting myself.
Now, generally, I would agree. A cease and desist letter doesn't mean anything except the sender wants you to stop. But if he did disclose information that was covered by the NDA, then he could be in trouble. Now, it would be a breach of contract claim. So it's not against the law to violate your NDA, but it does mean you can be sued civilly for a breach of contract. And there's no doubt that he's causing MrBeast reputational harm. Whether that's warranted is up to you. But the NDA could also contain a
It's up to me. I get to decide.
A non-disparagement clause prevents a signatory from disparaging the other party for a certain amount of time, even if the things that they say are true or non-confidential. This clause is meant to stop the parties from making public...
Well, I mean, you heard him. Legal Eagle has bestowed me, Judge Dredd, powers exclusively. I find MrBeast guilty of crimes against humanity. I don't have to do sentencing, even though Judge Dredds do have the power to sentence as well, but I'll leave that to the courts, so you can take it back from me. But yes, he has been found guilty. So there you have it. I am the law.
Or private comments that could harm the reputation or business interests of the other party. Especially in a situation like this where the person can truthfully say that they were an employee for a limited amount of time to add authority to their claims. Now, disparagement is not the same as defamation. Defamation generally only applies when these statements are false. Disparagement just means saying something negative about the other person, even if it's 100% correct. So if Dogpack's NDA has a non-disparagement clause that's still in effect, he could be—
Yeah, that's good. I do disparagement every day for a living. That's my job, disparagement.
In a lot of trouble because he's been doing a lot of disparaging.
On baddies.
Even if you assume that everything he says is 100% true. Now, Dogpack redacted the name of the law firm in the cease and desist letter, only quoting a portion of the firm's website, and some have suggested that the cease and desist letters were from the law firm Quinn Emanuel. And the name of the firm, Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart & Sullivan, fits the amount of space in the cease and desist letter that Dogpack shared on Twitter. Now, if so, these are not lawyers you want to mess with. I personally never met a lawyer from Quinn who wasn't a huge asshole, often in a way that's counterproductive.
Whoa, you're throwing lawyer tea. We don't often get lawyer tea. I have a couple friends who are lawyers, so I've had lawyer tea before, and it's sometimes wild hearing them talk about another firm. Sometimes, like if you've hired a lawyer for whatever reason, you're getting sued, or your boss has fucked you over, or stuff like that, they'll see who the other person's being represented, and then they'll be like, oh, ugh. They're gonna spend a lot. That's the sign right there. They're spending a lot of money. Or you know what? You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. That's not a good lawyer. No, really bad lawyer. Good. Yeah, this looks good. This bodes well.
Their client, but still they have a reputation for scorched earth litigation. But on the other hand, with respect to the NDA, it seems like most of what Dogpack has disclosed was already in the public and is based on accounts from other people, not what he witnessed firsthand. He certainly used his status as an ex-employee to make it seem like he has inside knowledge, but from what I've seen, he seems to be largely relaying what other people are talking about rather than using his own.
Yes, and it was like a lot of it is speculation, obviously, right? Like he doesn't have 100% conclusive evidence that, hey, by the way, in this shot, this is CGI, this is an actor, this is that. But I'm going to speculate based on what most people have observed, that, you know, based on the way the shot looks, that this is not, in fact, a shredder, this is CGI. You can kind of tell this explosion's fake. It looks like it's been composited in. You know, people who have done editing or special effects before can tell you, yes, it does look like a composite explosion. But like, again, it's speculation rather than like, that was the one thing about that video. I effectively thought he was going to be saying, hey, as an employee, here's the things that I saw and experienced, more than I've gathered together this collection of evidence. But his second video was with one of the people who was in one of the more horrifying MrBeast videos, saying firsthand, it's just as bad as you think, you know, if not worse.
Knowledge. But without knowing the terms of the NDA, it's hard to say how much trouble Dogpack might be in. But on the other hand, it might not be a good look to sue a critic out of existence, another fellow YouTuber. Plus, it just creates more of a Streisand effect, too. But love him or hate him, if you're tired of seeing all the MrBeast clones on YouTube,
yeah, but I'll be honest, this is not something, like, I'm not talking about all the stuff he's talking about, legally, your darling, keeping the one good lib. I'm talking about the video we were watching prior from the person who worked for MrBeast, who had to undergo both psychological torture, you know, all kinds of sleep deprivation, light deprivation, or sorry, the opposite of light deprivation, you know, noise, all that shit. That video, the fact that you've got a first-hand account, I think that is well within the bounds of being like YouTube. You need to investigate this. There needs to be like that. We're talking again the sanctioned torture of another human being for the purposes of entertainment on your biggest channel, literally your biggest channel. And that's not the only video. He's got another video where there's a supermarket where he does a similar thing where it's like, every day you stay in a supermarket by yourself. And keep in mind, like, I don't know if anyone here watches the TV show Alone, but holy hell, if you ever want to see the psychological toll that having absolutely no human contact takes on a human being, watch that series. The premise is a reality show where you have to survive by yourself in the middle of horrifying conditions, actually very close to me on Vancouver Island, where it's like you have to be able to survive, start fires, but it's always wet and rainy, blah, blah, blah. And whoever does it the longest wins. That's it. Super simple idea. Who can survive without anything in the middle of the woods for as long as possible? They film it by they have to set up their own cameras in the forest because they're supposed to be survivalists and everything. And day 1 or 2, everyone's like, woo, yeah, this I'm gonna crush it. Oh, I get the prize money. Day 30, it's like they've been through a war. Like they all have these bug eyes and they're all just like, so it's been yet another day that I was sleeping and I thought I heard sounds. I started to hallucinate, thinking that it may have been some kind of profound prophet or voice that was coming to me, almost as if I was seeing or hearing the voice of Jesus. I'm not entirely sure what it means, but I'm not sure what day it is. I stopped losing count once I stopped making marks. You're just like, oh my God, this person has been through a lot. When you reach the winners, like when it finally gets to the winning like rounds and it's day like 72 or something like that, they just like, they've got these monstrous beards and stuff, and they're like, they've built entire like relationships with dolls they've carved out themselves. And one guy made a football game by being able to roll dice with all these like little chess pieces. Another one made this terrible sounding ukulele. Another was trying to like carve out like a group of friends in like, just again, the kind of stuff that you would expect happens to a human being with zero other contacts with anyone else. And you literally have, outside of trying to find food, survive, and warmth, all the time you need in your own head all day. So that's why the idea of solitary confinement, it's a profoundly strange thing to want to turn into like aggressive entertainment, and then to do that equally with like, well, it's okay because I gave him the supermarket. You get to have fun. You get to push the cart. You get to get all the items off the things and then eat them. And then the first 2 or 3 days will be amazing because you get all the fresh produce and all the fresh meats and stuff. And then that'll start to spoil and the whole place will stink and be really gross. But hey, you can still enjoy canned beans for a prolonged period of time. There's probably some magazines for you to enjoy. Some toys in the hardware section. Like I get like doing a zombie recreation you know is going to play well for numbers, and the idea of just being able to be in a Costco during the apocalypse, how much fun would that be for the first, again, everybody, like couple weeks? Okay, it would start to get pretty gnarly fast. The whole thing would smell like a dump. But like, yeah, okay, let's turn that into a YouTube video. But it fucks with people. Like, it fucks with their minds. Like, in that sketch, you can see it's like, I was like, this is dark. It's getting very, very dark. And just like, there's no stopping it. This is the biggest internet entertainer that there is.
Hey, if you'd like to unlock secret bonus episodes as well as uncensored content, go to patreon.com/The Serfs. This show is produced by Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbard Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multimondi, Omni, Political Puppy, Preston Kroll, Quiet 185, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demel, Travis McClinton, Trincel, Words Greenwood, with additional support coming from all of these amazing human beings right here.